This is Better Moody, and you're listening to The Way Forward. There was a moment once, I like saying once upon a time, but it was during military training of all things, and I don't remember all the circumstances around it. I just know, the setting is vague. It was early in the morning, but it was me and another woman, female. And we were sent to run an errand. We had to go pick up something that was needed. And I took a vehicle, went through the forest, and it seemed like we rode until sunrise. So granted, we probably woke up at 4, and then the sun rose at, 5:36. So it's not like we were on this voyage. It was just, that's the time frame. But it felt like we rode through the forest until sunup, and it felt epic seeing the sunrise. You should always try and get a sunrise in. Man, it's very, it feels like you're reborn. But it was dark and it was quiet. It's like a big metaphor, this ride. And then there we were. We were just in the two of us, in this little cocoon of a car. And there was nothing but the road ahead of us, and then the trees surrounding us. So we felt, I don't know how she felt, but I just felt it was like a weird, cozy sort of entrapment. But somewhere in that silence, we were riding. I had nothing to say. It was early, and she was riding, but we started talking. She did. She started talking to me, and it wasn't small talk. I don't know if it was just the general ambience of and being in the moment, but it wasn't, hey, so it's pretty dark outside, or did you iron your uniform? How about the Red Sox? None of that. Let's see. She probably would have been like, Roll Tide. How about that Alabama game? Because it was, I believe it was in Alabama. But she started sharing pieces of herself, and it was raw, and it was very personal. And I don't know if she just imagined me to be someone like her Nana or anybody trustworthy in the darkness, but these were things that I don't think she had told anyone. And she just unloaded her soul. And then she cried. She cried those raw, ugly tears. And, I'm looking at the road driving, and no judgment. There's never any judgment, I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen to you, even though you're listening to me, We all need a good listen from time to time. But I just glanced over at her, and she just really needed that. I'll never forget that moment. Because she looked up at me like she didn't even know why she had said what she had said. Like, I think she was a little bit surprised. Like, why here? Why now? But I guess she felt comfortable with me. And that's fine. And that's all right. Of all people to talk to, I would never divulge her secrets, but when we came out on the other side, which is what it felt like we were just going through this gauntlet, right? We came out on the other side, and the other side was where the sun rose. It felt like we had both been through this spiritual cleansing. I think mine was internal, hers was external. I think maybe she was a little embarrassed, but for whatever reason, when the sun rose, it was like it seared all of the confusion. The sunlight evaporated all her tears. It was her hand. She wiped her face, but, come on now. We're trying to be poetic. But, I think about that sometimes, that moment. And when she looked at me, or when someone starts to talk to you openly and freely, there's something in their soul that's crying out that needs to be said. And maybe they don't need to speak to some random person. A military one source. That's a great asset out there. And maybe you don't want to talk to a person that you're meeting for the first time. a therapist, right? Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody who actually sees you, who's physically, known you for at least a bit. And maybe that's validating to know that you're seen, then you're human, and that's accepted. Oh, but it's rare to find a friend like that. Someone that will just listen to you and truly not judge you or harbor that information for a future time when it might come in handy, When someone needs to spill their whole story and those parts of you, those parts that hurt, need to come out and see the light. It feels like it's out of nowhere, but it's not. I think it's been brewing for some time, and in the darkness, sometimes maybe there's some safeness there, cloaked in the cover of darkness. You need to be seen while unseen. I used to wonder, why do people feel comfortable talking to me? I welcome it. But do they think that I'm perfect? Like, what is going on in their head? I know why it's okay for those people to talk to me, because I am that guy. I am truly, maybe in some altruistic sort of way, just concerned about what they're feeling in the moment and what they need. Maybe that's empathetic. I'm not sure. But it feels like a purpose. Just to listen sometimes, it feels like that gives me purpose. And I used to wonder, do they think I know all the answers? I always felt this need to say something, but I don't have the answers, so you're not going to get that from me. But what I can do, I can listen. I can listen like a motherfucker. I can give you both ears, and I can process what you're saying and record your story in my thoughts, as a living being. And maybe maybe it's just not about perfection at all. It's about presence. And then some of us are just called to be that safe space for others, that quiet, safe space in a car, sharing your thoughts as we drive through the forest. Not because we're flawless, but because there are some that are chosen, I think, to do that. And I think you can choose yourself. But, you don't flinch when people show you your truth, their truth. You don't flinch. Because people, they sense it. They sense your discomfort, right? Some people just can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth. And so maybe that's what this podcast is about too. It's just that sharing in that safe space as we drive through the forest, this journey of life. It's a drive through the dark sometimes and through the quiet. And then you can finally lay it down. You can cry if you need to. I'm okay with that. You can be okay with that. I say that primarily because I think guys struggle with that. But then you come out on the other side a little lighter and a little freer. And you keep moving forward. And so that's your option. Someone used to ask me, are we going to be all right? Is everything going to be okay? I said, yes, everything's going to be okay. Or it's not. And then in which case, it doesn't matter. So there's no need to stress about it. You do your best, and then you keep it moving. So here's the thing that stuck with me about that ride. She was crying. She was sharing things that I didn't expect her to say out loud at that. But I wasn't giving advice. I wasn't fixing anything, and I surely didn't have any words. I was focused on the road. I just sat there and drove and stared at the road. Saw a little squirrel run by, and it's just the headlights beaming forward in a partial fog. And anyway, in that moment, I thought, I have nothing to offer her. What can I do for her here? But then I realized that was the whole point. My being was enough. My silence, enough. And my presence, it gave her a safe space to let it all out. So that's what I want to say to anyone who feels like they don't matter, who maybe you feel like you have nothing special to offer. You feel like your life might be purposeless, maybe pointless. Guess what? I mean, please be useful and productive. That's just the inner me speaking, but you don't have to be. That's the kicker. You don't have to be useful or perfect or extraordinary to matter. I mean, you are matter. Therefore, you matter. You just present your best self as you know it. And just your presence can be the very thing that someone else needs to hold on to so they can get through another day. So that car ride through the forest taught me something that I've carried over since. And as soldiers especially, I think we go through this imposter syndrome where we feel like, man, you see what other people perceive. You can see it in their eyes when they look at you, when they talk to you, they thank you for your service. But we know, I mean, any person, majority of the people will say, yeah, or they'll think we're just doing our jobs. That we aren't doing anything heroic. We just put one foot in front of the other, just like anyone else. And you don't go out with this grand agenda to go be a hero. We're not doing anything heroic. We don't set out to go save lives or go run missions. And when it happens, sometimes we're just as shocked that we did the things we did in the moment, and we impress ourselves. Who is that? We're all scared too. We were just two women sitting in a vehicle, and the road was carrying us to our next destination. I want to say final destination. And yet that moment, it turned into something. It was almost holy because she let go of a burden, and I just sat there. And maybe I helped her carry it in that moment. It made me realize you don't have to be doing something big, okay? You don't need to have the right words, the right timing, the perfect plan. Sometimes just by showing up, by breathing, you're doing that beautiful thing that is needed. And that's it. That's the truth. I want to say that to anyone who feels like they don't matter, their life, they feel like it has no purpose, maybe they would be better if they were just not here. It's a lie. It's a big, bald-faced lie. And you can question all the existential and philosophical details of what happens after, but right now is what you have. It's the bird in the hand versus the bird in the bush. You have right now, and what you do with this moment, even if it's just being, just breathing, that's enough. The world needs you. Somebody needs your presence. Somebody needs the quiet space that you create without even knowing it. That feeling of acceptance. So your being here is a gift. Your breath, your laughter, your pain, it all matters. Even if you feel like you're doing nothing. Yes, nothing is something. Thank you, body, for operating on autopilot, because by virtue of that, someone is looking up to you. All people are always watching you. Someone needs that story that you have to share. Someone needs that space that you can fill with them. We need each other. Sometimes the way forward, it's not about fixing anything. Sometimes it's just about holding space for each other in the dark until the sun comes up. We underestimate that so much. We think our value is in the big things, the career wins, the perfect families, picture perfect Instagram families. Those were Instagram moments, but really, sometimes it's just the most important thing that you'll ever do is just sit in the dark with someone until the sun comes up. And that's enough. You are enough. And with that being said, you're listening to your host, Better Moody. This is the way forward. Keep moving forward. You're doing a good job. If no one told you, you've got this. And I'll see you in the next episode.